Big up yourselves each and every time. Make sure, as always, we are smashing that like button and make sure that we are subbing to the channel as well. Obviously, weekend football, we're going to get into that at 5:30. Make sure you guys come through with myself, Jonas, and with Fitz as well, as always, for our 5:30 stream. So we're going to talk about Liverpool, obviously Manchester United's game tonight against Bournemouth. And again, we're going to get into the weekend football action as well, from games that just happened. So yeah, make sure you guys come through and make sure you interact with the channel as always. And give us your questions, give us your comments for what is sure to be a lively stream at 5:30. So yeah, make sure you guys come through. But what we're going to discuss anyway, again, you guys can see the thumbnail, obviously bit more England talk, you would say, obviously with the World Cup coming up in the summer. And the number 10 position, is a position for me that I do take a keen interest in terms of, obviously, when I was playing where I used to play. And obviously, with me, it's one of them things that whenever I see players that are compared to some of the players of the past that I used to watch, I always like to have a look at what players are being talked about as much, what kind of players are actually coming through, and, my bias is to technical players. So, again, with me, it's one of them things where, there's certain players that I do look out for, and certain players that I just prefer, Big up to Fitz, big up my guy each and every time. So, yeah, we're going to discuss anyway, and make sure your questions and comments do come in, and let me know, if you have a difference of opinion as well. But as you guys can see, the thumbnail, the title, Made in Manchester, Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, all playing their trade at different clubs, Aston Villa, Man City, and Chelsea. And in actual fact, it's actually weird. Yeah, you got three players that are predominantly number 10s. And what's funny actually is that you've got, if you look at the league table, you've got City in second, Villa in third, Chelsea in fourth. And all three of them players that I'm mentioning, they're literally just, in a row in terms of the Premier League table. But I think if we're looking at the World Cup coming up, I would say that those are the three players for me right now, that are the leading players in terms of, I would say in Thomas Tuchel, in his probably mind, I think those are the three number 10s he might be looking at as being the starters. There's other players, we've mentioned before, the Jack Grealishes, who are number 10s, but Grealish will probably ply his trade for England if he does get picked from the left-hand side. And for me, Jack Grealish has to be in that England squad. But at this moment in time, I'm not sure if he makes it, because we know that Thomas Tuchel likes to have pace out on the left-hand side. And in that number 10 position, there's a lot of players there that are vying for that start, But I would say that Grealish is a 10, as I said, but he'll probably play from the left. The same with Eze. Eze's a 10, but he'd probably play from the left. So I think in terms of those two, you can more or less say they'll be ruled out of the number 10 position, because I think the way that Thomas Tuchel sees his number 10s, I think there's certain players that he'd probably prefer in there. And again, if you look at the likes of those three players mentioning, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, and Morgan Rogers, those three are adaptable players. If you look at Cole Palmer's probably better from the right-hand side where he gets more freedom, more space. Morgan Rogers in Aston Villa's system right now, he plays more from the left to get more freedom as well. And the way that Villa set up with Yuri Tillemans playing as the 10. And then you've got Boubacar Kamara and Amadou Onana. And then again, you've got Phil Foden, who is playing slightly deeper, sometimes in the 3 with Man City, with Nico Gonzalez and Bernardo Silva at the moment. But then also can play with Cherki behind Erling Haaland. So you've got 3 adaptable players there in Foden, Rogers and Cole Palmer. But guys, let me know who you think will be Thomas Tuchel starting number 10. Or let me know who you think will be, who's the best out of these three. You know, I'm going to run through just a couple of their numbers, you know. And again, if you're coming through here, guys, and you support the channel or you like the content and the stream, make sure you sub. And there's, what, 10 of you in at the moment. Make sure you sub to the channel and make sure you smash the like button. And make sure you share the channel. You know, it's a proper footballing channel. And as I said, man, you know, we love the debate over here. So if you've got a difference of opinion, you know, then be sure to put that in the chat. Big up to Jude Fenwick as well for coming through. So guys, let me know what you think. Foden, Rodgers, or Cole Palmer. So Morgan Rodgers this season, 10 GA in 23 games. Cole Palmer, as we know, has been injured, so he's only got the 3 goals in 7 games. And then at the moment, Phil Foden, you know, having a very good season, 15 GA in 21 games, you know. And again, I touched on Phil Foden. I said in the summer, I said this is going to be a massive season for Foden. If you think of the likes of Turkey coming through, that could potentially take his position. Yeah, big up, Fitz, man. I'm going to do a poll in a minute, actually, yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll do it now. Let's get the poll out. So, who should be England's number 10? So, guys, there you have it. So, I'm going to start the poll now. So, who do you think should be England's number 10? So, put your vote in. Let us know who you think should be England's number 10. Again, if you think it should be someone else, then put that in the... should I put that down there? Then put that in the chat as well. So, yeah, who do you think should be England's number 10? For me, it's difficult because there is a lot of talent there, you know. There is a lot of talent there, man, for sure. Yeah, big up to Jude, man. Big up, man. Hopefully hopefully you're recovering, man. 100%, man. Big up yourself. So, guys, who do you think? Make sure you put your vote in. As I said, if you think other, then put that in the group. But I'm looking at 3 players right now. I think Phil Foden, in terms of his output, you know, and just, as I said, start of the summer, you know, I think Phil Foden was someone that, seeing the likes of Turkey coming in, you know, seeing the likes of what they've already got there in the likes of Marmoush, Savinho, Bernardo Silva, you know, they've got a lot of attacking players. I said to myself, you know what, Phil Foden, he needs to have a big season because, you know, it's unlikely that Man City would want to sell an academy prospect, yeah? But I think this is a massive season because if Phil Foden doesn't kick on, it could be seen as, you know, has Phil Foden flopped, or is it time to move him on, you know? And I think at this moment in time, big up to Babs One Diva each and every time, big up. I think at this moment in time, you know, he's actually, you know, starting to prove the doubters wrong, because I think everyone would probably agree that if you're looking at Cole Palmer and Morgan Rodgers, before a ball was kicked, I think the majority of people would say that those two players are ahead of Phil Foden. I think Phil Foden this season, is starting to, sway opinions back again and let people start taking notice of his ability, And Phil Foden's always been someone for me that is, a highly technical player, someone that, if you look at a lot of the England players gone by, he was something a bit different. And this season, in terms of his output, he's getting back to the levels that he was at a couple of seasons ago when I think he hit 19. Did he hit 19 goals? It was either 19 goals in all comps or 19 in the Premier League, something like that. So I think at this moment in time, for numbers wise, he's a standout. If I'm having to pick out of all three of them, and it's difficult, all three players coming from the Manchester City Academy, and it just shows you, man, that academy there is serious. Because to think that Rodgers, Palmer, and obviously Foden still there, all come from the academy, not to mention the likes of Jadon Sancho, Romeo Lavia, Liam Delap as well, Brahim Diaz, who's now at Real Madrid. I swear there's one more player. There one more player? To think that all those players have come from the academy, like those, Steve Bruce, those players there, man. Three of the best players in England for sure. If I had to pick one, for me, I'm gonna stick with Cole Palmer. I think Cole Palmer for me, in terms of number 10s, and again, Cole Palmer for me is probably better playing from the right, where he gets more freedom. But I think he might find his place, because I do think Tuchel's gonna play Saka. So, but does he? If Saka plays, does Palmer get a start? This is the big question. So I think with Cole Palmer, could he be battling for a number 10 position? Because I don't really want to see Cole Palmer playing second fiddle to Bukayo Saka on the right hand side. I don't think that should be happening. Because for me, Cole Palmer's better than Bukayo Saka. But I think in Tuchel's lineup, I think Saka probably does start on that right hand side. So does Cole Palmer go on the bench? And this is the problem. So, but yeah, Cole Palmer for me. I'm a massive fan of Morgan Rogers. And obviously you see with his performance yesterday against West Ham. Big up to Foxy Danny as well. So yeah, massive fan of Morgan Rogers. I think out of all three of them right now, Morgan Rogers is probably the number 1, number 10 right now in Thomas Tuchel's eyes. I do think that. So just going through the votes. So Cole Palmer at the moment on 50%. Again, I don't disagree with that. And then you've got Morgan Rogers, Phil Foden, both on 25. And the thing is, it's interesting to see that no one's actually put other. The others would be the likes of Gibbs White. You might want to throw Benham in there as well. So it's good to see that, everyone's in agreement that Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, are the main three at the moment. I think Morgan Rogers now on 33%. But again, it's about opinion. The reason why I like these three players in the 10 is more to do with the control, in terms of being able to control games, and this is why if you look at Foden, Morgan Rogers, I'll say Foden and Palmer first and foremost, yeah, and Morgan Rogers does fall into that. But Foden and Palmer for me are probably the most adept number 10s in terms of control, in terms of, wanting to keep the ball. Whereas I like Eze, to be fair, and Eze should be in contention, but I don't think Tuchel's going to play Eze in the 10. I think Eze's going to be playing more from the left. But I think the control is the massive thing for me, and, Gibbs White is a good player, but I think those three have more control about themselves in terms of being able to, link the midfield to the attack. And then you look at the likes of Bellingham. Again, Bellingham's not a 10. And out of all those players, he's the least one that you would want in possession more times than not, And as I said, these players for me are clearly ahead. Jack Grealish is, again, number 10 for me, that can control from that position. But again, I think he's probably more seen as a left-sided player under Tuchel. And again, hasn't really been called up lately. So that's the main thing for me, why I think those three players, And I think, yeah, I think Morgan Rogers at the moment in Tuchel's eyes will be there. But for me, I think Cole Palmer has to play. If Cole Palmer proves his fitness and proves his form, they have to, Tuchel for me has to find a place for him in the team. Whether it's on the right-hand side or whether it's in the 10, I think definitely he has to play. So, yeah, this summer's going to be interesting. I agree with you, Gav, about Palmer position being on the right, but in Tuchel's system, I don't think he'll fit in that right wing. But as a cam, he definitely suit it. Yeah, 100%. I think it's quite obvious to see what Tuchel wants to do with the England team. I think this is why the likes of, even though I would definitely pick Jack Grealish. I'd love to pick Jadon Sancho if he could prove his form as well. But I think we have to be honest and say that with how Tuchel sets up, he likes to have pace on the flanks. And that's why Anthony Gordon, Marcus Rashford are in contention. Don't ignore someone like a Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. Even though I don't think Hudson-Odoi would get chosen in the World Cup, but Hudson-Odoi is another player that has pace like Anthony Gordon and like Marcus Rashford. And if you look on the right-hand side, you've got Saka, you've got Bowen, Madueke will be in contention as well. And again, there's going to be a lot of players that are going to be missing out in this tournament because if you're thinking of, as I say, Tuchel wanting to have pace in the wide areas, you'd have to say Saka's definitely going to go if he's fit. And then if you look on the other side, I think between Marcus Rashford and Anthony Gordon, one of them definitely goes. So yeah, it's all about how he sees Cole Palmer because again, Cole Palmer more or less is going to play as a number 10 if he definitely wants to go with the pace on the flanks. I think Jared Bowen has a good chance to go. And again, Jared Bowen's a very good player. He's someone for me that's very underrated. But I think Palmer's best position is on the right, no doubt. But I just don't think Tuchel's going to play him there because, as I said, he wants to play players, I believe, that are going to be an outlet in terms of their pace. And I look at Saka. Saka's not like lightning quick, but Saka can ball carry, and he's got a good change of pace as well. Madueke, the same, quite direct. And then you got Jared Bowen, who I think will be fitting into the squad, even though he's not lightning. But those players are quicker than the likes of Palmer, the likes of Foden, which is why I can see those playing infield. And again, let's not forget, guys, you've got Tuchel seeing Foden as a false nine. And again, could that be a way of him getting Foden in the squad? But then I think that could be a problem because if you're going to put Foden as a false nine, being back up to Harry Kane, it's one of them things where you're going to leave out a striker, likes of Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, Danny Welbeck at the lap. So if he's going to leave out definitely a striker to put in a false nine, you're kind of relying on Harry Kane really to not get injured. And if that does happen, does Foden come into contention? These are one of the things what we have to kind of be aware of, and be interested to see what he does. Elliott soon to be number 10. Mark my words. Yeah, listen, I like Harvey Elliott. I do like Harvey Elliott, but Harvey Elliott's not going to be in the World Cup squad. I mean, Harvey Elliott can't even get into Aston Villa's squad, which I'm surprised at because I do think Harvey Elliott is a good player. But the problem is the way. The thing is the fact that he's not really figuring in getting minutes off the pitch is weird. You think of Elliott and you got Sancho as well. Sancho's obviously been on the bench, but Harvey Elliott can't even get into the squad. So there's no way Harvey Elliott's going to be in the World Cup team with the amount of competition for places, especially where Harvey Elliott plays. So that's not going to happen. But I do like him though. I do like Harvey Elliott. I do think he's a good player. So you'd put Palmer behind Rodgers as a forward. So you'd put Palmer in the 10 and then Morgan Rodgers as a 9. Yeah, that's not going to work, is it? um, I love Bowen, but I think Tuchel was thinking he's too old. Nah, I don't agree with that. Bowen's what, 20? I think Bowen's only like 27, so he's not old. You know what I mean? I think Bowen's one of them players. Yeah, he could be easy to leave out, and that's only because he's playing for West Ham. Because Jared Bowen's a very good player. He's a very good player. Obviously, you think of him coming from Hull City to West Ham. He can definitely go and play for a top 6 team, Jared Bowen. He's a very good player. The only thing that goes against Jared Bowen, as I said, because if you look at all the attackers that he's competing with, the likes of Cole Palmer, Morgan Rodgers, Madueke, Saka, from where he plays on that right-hand side, these guys are all playing for the top teams in the league. So, and again, he's probably the one with Morgan Gibbs-White as well that are playing for the 2 teams that are sort of near the bottom. So this is the only thing that goes against Bowen. But Bowen's a very good player, man. So I wouldn't rule out Jared Bowen from this England squad. I think he could be the easy one to leave out. But yeah, to say that he's too old, nah, that's not true, is it? You know? Yeah, do you know what, Fitz? I agree. And this is why I've done this, because, if we're looking at the 3 that I've mentioned, Cole Palmer, Rodgers, and Phil Foden, for me, there's no doubt that these 3 players should be ahead of Jude Bellingham in the England squad. And this is why we're going to see what Tuchel's all about. Because if Tuchel does fold under the pressure and include Bellingham, because the way I'm looking at it now, if we've got those 3 players, yeah, that can play in the 10s, you don't need Bellingham. That's the actual truth. You actually don't even need Bellingham if you've got Rodgers, Palmer, and Foden, because that's 3 players that can potentially play in the 10 that are all better than Jude Bellingham. Not to mention you've got a Gibbs White if you wanted to. Eze's actually a 10 as well, so you don't need Bellingham. So the only reason why Tuchel was going to bring Bellingham is media pressure. Now, I would like to think that the fact that he's dropped Bellingham from the squad already, he doesn't care about media pressure. And this is why I'm trying to say, I think Tuchel will be brave enough to just say, look, he's not in my thinking. And I think that'll be key. That will be key for Tuchel to say, look, I've got other options that I think are better. So I hear it, but if he does fold and put Bellingham in the squad, like, we shouldn't really be surprised, because I'm expecting Bellingham to be in the squad, not because he deserves to be, it's because the whole media fanfare around him, is going to be there before the start of the tournament. The only way he doesn't get picked for me, Bellingham, is because he hasn't been great for Real Madrid. And if that continues, Tuchel's going to have a decision to make. But I think as it stands, he's probably on the fringes of the squad. Even though, as I said, I wouldn't pick him based on what's available. But the big question is, does he start him? Because that could be the big that's going to be the big talking point of the summer for me. I think, does Jude Bellingham start for England if he gets chosen for the World Cup? Because I'm saying this now, if he starts Bellingham in the 10, England will be coming home quicker than you realise. So that will be what Thomas Tuchel's got to be prepared for, because as I've just said to you, man, those 3 players, obviously Palmer's been out injured, but those 3 players at this moment in time are in very good form. Palmer for me is a standout, but Morgan Rodgers and Phil Foden this season, they're showing that they're 2 guys that should definitely be included, no doubt. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. But if he does bring Bellingham, yeah, we'll have to see if he does start him, because I don't think it should happen. Big up to Babs One Diva with the super sticker. Big up. It says 100%. Yeah, listen. It's an unpopular opinion, but listen, I wouldn't take Benham. You know that already anyway. Uh, let's see. Bro, what do you think about India? Huge fan. Please reply. Yeah, big up, man. Big up to India. India in the house, man. Big up. Taj Mahal on that, yeah? Big up. Yeah, big up, guys, for coming. Guys, make sure when you're coming through, you're smashing the like button and you're subbing the channel. I think we're less than 200. Less than 200 from 2K subs. So yeah, as I said, if you come in, you enjoy the content, make sure you sub, make sure you smash the like button to help the channel to grow, and make sure you share the channel as well. Yeah, listen, Foden is playing well. There's no doubt Foden is playing well, man. And you know, it's a massive season for Foden. I'm telling you, because if Foden had the same sort of season that he had last season, I think there'll be some Man City fans that probably wouldn't want to admit it, but they would probably be calling for him to be sold probably, or for them to get someone to replace him. But again, he's got what 15 GA this season already, which is good for him, man. And obviously his performances have been decent as well. So if he continues his form, man, he's going to be a shoo-in for this squad. But again, I was more cautious about Phil Foden being included in the squad, not because he isn't good enough, but it's because of the competition that he's going to face. And as I said, man, I think definitely he's giving Tuchel, you know, something to think about this season. And yeah, man, he's been good. He's been very good this season, Phil Foden. Let's see if it continues. Guys, make sure you're voting. So we've got 20 votes. So who should be England's number 10? And guys, if you think it should be other, tell me why you think the person that you've put in as other should be there. So we've got Morgan Rogers on 33%, Cole Palmer on 29%, Foden 29%, other 10%. And again, it just shows you that how close it is. And to think that Morgan Rogers is leading it right now, you know, I'm not surprised, but then I'm slightly surprised because I thought Cole Palmer would be ahead. But Morgan Rogers, man, is just showing you how good Morgan Rogers is. And again, I'm a massive fan of Rogers, man. I think Rogers, for me, is definitely I think he's one of the best players in the league. You know, I think he's one of the best players in the league for me, Morgan Rogers. You know, and again, all three of these players coming from Man City. So, yeah, it's mad. What's your name? Gav Goes In, man. You can see it behind me. Gav Goes In. That's my channel name. Big up. Guys, make sure we're subbing. Make sure we're smashing the like button. And make sure we are sharing the channel, man. Big up. So, yeah, Gav Goes In is the channel name. I think if he brings Bellingham, it won't be to play as a number 10. Probably as an 8 because he does a lot of running. And if he doesn't like that, Tuchel hopefully won't play him. And again, Jude, I think... you know, the problem is, yeah, he cannot play Benham in an 8 in the system he wants to play. This is why it's going to be interesting, because I think we're all in agreement that Declan Rice is going to start. Yeah. Now, next to Declan Rice, at this moment in time, I think everyone can agree that next to Declan Rice is going to be Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson has more or less come from nowhere to kind of be guaranteed a start for England right now with the way he's playing. And that's not even putting in the likes of Adam Wharton, who a lot of fans would want Adam Wharton to start. So when we're looking at Jude Bellingham, and this is why I'm trying to say to you, Jude Bellingham, for me, why would you take him? Because you're not going to take him to play in an 8 because he's not disciplined enough, you know, and he wants to get forward a lot of the time. And in international football, you cannot afford to have too many players ahead of the ball, because international football is a slower pace and you need control. Declan Rice is not a controller of the game. He's more box to box. And if you're going to have a sort of controller, whether it's an Elliot Anderson, whether it's a Adam Wharton in there, you might as well just use Declan Rice as the box to box, if anything. Why would you have Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham in the midfield when neither one of them can control games? So this is why Bellingham, because Declan Rice is ahead of Jude Bellingham in the England squad. So you're more or less having to pick between, and people don't want to hear this, you're more or less having to pick between Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice, because both players are box to box. Declan Rice is better than Jude Bellingham, and he's more experienced as well. And it's like, why would you have Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham as a midfield two and then have a number 10? There's no control in that midfield. So this is why Elliot Anderson's come from nowhere to force himself into the team. So again, this is why there's no place really for Bellingham, because there's better number 10s in the England squad. And as an 8, you can't play him there because he's ill-disciplined. And there's better players there in terms of dictating the tempo of a game, which Bellingham can't do. So again, I know there's people out there that want to see Jude Bellingham, but ask yourself this question: where does he actually figure for this team? Because he's not a number 10, and really and truly, he's not a number 8 in the 2. So what are you going to do? It's mad. From the UK, man. From the UK. What do you think about Sesko's performance currently on Man United? But again, Sesko's out injured, man, so it's pretty difficult to kind of give an assessment on Sesko now. But what I would say about Sesko is he was a signing that I didn't want the club to make because there was other options that I would prefer. But the fact that he came in and Højlund came out, that was a tick straight away. But I always said Joshua Zirkzee should be the main striker at United anyway, for so many different reasons. But I think since Sesko's came in, he's been decent. But again, this system doesn't get the best out of strikers anyway. So it's kind of hard to judge if Sesko really, because this system's just the killer. And again, we've spoken on it so many times. No one really plays well as a striker in this system. The best performance from a striker has been Joshua Zirkzee so far this season, because Cunha's been poor up there, and that's not Cunha's fault because Cunha's a 10, and Sesko hasn't really been in the game too much. So, yeah, again, we know that this system's shit anyway. So, guys, get your votes in. Come on, we got 24 votes at the moment. Guys, if you want to get your comments read out, then again, I'm only going to read out priority comments. So again, if you're a member on the channel, if you sub to the channel, if you're a member, then again, you get priority. So if there's any questions that do stand out, I will go on to them. But if it's just general comments in there, then as I said, I'm not going to read them out. So again, if you want your comments read out, then make sure you become a member on the channel and show your support. Big up yourselves. Yeah, big up, man. Manchester has and always will be red. Listen, I can't disagree, man. Even though, it's killing me it's killing me at the moment with, what this club, the state this club is in. But yeah, Man United will always be red for me, man. Come on, But listen, you have to give credit to City, man, because City have got the infrastructure in their club. They've got the manager. They've got the academy. They bring the players in, and you can only kind of respect it. But I just hope that my club gets back to I just hope that my club just gets back to being serious. But yeah, as long as this manager's here, Ruben Amorim, yeah, it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, man. Yeah, on the pitch, United, City are better than United. Like, they are on the pitch. But in terms of the history, the trophies and stuff like that, yeah, there's only one. Would you swap Cunha for Semenyo? Don't compare players, more about who's better fit for the system. So in this system, I wouldn't swap Cunha and Semenyo, no. And the reason for that is because if you look at Semenyo's profile of what he is, the only positions really he could play is wing back. That's the truth. Because he's a powerful runner, he's strong. The number 10 requires finesse. And again, Semenyo's not a finesse kind of player. He's an athlete. And the only place you'll play him is a wing back, which is why this system needs to be scrapped. This I'm trying to say to you. Like, he comes in as a wing back in this system. But the reality is, you don't want to see him at wing back. You play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, then you play Semenyo out wide on either flank. But the reality is, I don't want Semenyo anyway. I don't want Semenyo at Manchester United. Even though I've got a feeling tonight he's going to cause problems for United. But he's not a signing that I'd want United to make. But again, man, he's gonna be a threat. But yeah, definitely wouldn't swap Cunha with Semenyo. Cunha in his systems is a left 10. But this manager just wants to do things backwards and play him as a striker, which we know that's not where you get the best out of Cunha, 100%. So yeah, it's just one of them things, man. Yeah, we got to put up this for a little bit longer. It's nonsense. Man United gonna win tonight. Boy, I mean, has anyone got any news on Ahmad Mbeumo and Mazraoui? Are they playing tonight? Because there's talk about obviously them departing for AFCON. I'm not sure if they're in the squad. I'll tell you now, if they're not playing, there's gonna be problems because I mentioned already. Let's see what he does with this lineup. So Ahmad and Mbeumo will play. Is that confirmed? Are they playing for this game? Is that confirmed? Guys, we are going to be back at 5:30 with Fitz and with Jonas, obviously Liverpool fan. So yeah, make sure you guys come through at 5:30. We're going to discuss Liverpool. There's a few things I want to ask Jonas as well. And obviously we're going to discuss the Man United game tonight with Bournemouth. And then the weekend football. So yeah, make sure you guys come through and support the channel at 5:30 for our usual stream. Real Madrid or Barcelona? Barcelona for me. Guys, come on, make sure you're voting. We've got Phil Foden now in the lead. I'm surprised. Must be some Man City fans in there. But yeah, Phil Foden's 33%. Morgan Rogers 30%. Cole Palmer 28%. So Palmer and Rogers both on 28. Foden 31. And other is 14%, which in a funny way is quite good to see because the others are the likes of, it could be, I mean, I like Eze, but I don't think Eze will start at 10 under Tuchel. But the others are guys like Gibbs, White, Bellingham, which we've already spoken about anyway. So the fact that these three are the ones that, are beating the other, which is probably good. I'm surprised Foden at the moment in the 10. I'm surprised. I don't think Foden and Harry Kane would work, to be honest with you. Foden in a 10 and Harry Kane at 9 won't work because Foden will want to get on the ball and doesn't really have the physicality to go beyond Harry Kane. Harry Kane's going to want to drop in. So that combination there, I don't see working. I think the best fit for Harry Kane is Morgan Rogers, probably. Morgan Rogers is probably the best fit because Rogers is a powerful runner and can run beyond Harry Kane, you know. But there's options there for Tuchel, man. Definitely. Okay, I'm gonna check that, man. I'm gonna check that. But yeah, I mean, if those three players from AFCON are playing, then it gives United obviously a better opportunity. But tonight's game is going to be a tough one because, as I said, man, I don't think people should be getting carried away with the Wolves game by any means because Wolves were poor and United just done what they had to do. But this Bournemouth game under Iraola, they will cause problems. So yeah, man, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Ronaldinho, man, that's the guy. That's the guy. Yeah, listen, Mason Greenwood's a top player, man. To think that Greenwood could still play for England, and obviously we know what happened, and that's not probably going to happen no more. Is annoying because I put Mason Greenwood when I'm talking about left-footed wide men that play from the right-hand side. The top three for me, well, I say top three, and I want to put Ahmad in there, but Ahmad we know is playing as a wing back, which is annoying. But the top three for me, Yamal, Elise, and Mason Greenwood. For me, they're the top three, and then you got Cherky. But I put Cherky and Ahmad because Cherky and Ahmad for me are tens. I know Ahmad's been playing more as a wide player since he's come to United, but I still see him as a sort of 10 that can play out wide. But Cherky and Ahmad for me, yeah, I'd like to put them in there. They're more tens. But in terms of left-footed wide men, right now, I think definitely Yamal, Elise, and Mason Greenwood for me. Yeah. Bainham is the best 10 easy. Okay. Tell me why you think he's the best 10. I'm going to shout you out. Football Intel. Tell us why you think Bainham is the best 10 easy. Let's see if you can explain why you think he's the best 10. Go on. I'm waiting. So, all right. So he's the most dangerous going forward in terms of what? In terms of what? He's the best goal scorer. He's the best goal scorer. So the reason why that's not true, yeah, is because you're taking that off of one season when he played as a false nine, come the most advanced midfielder. So again, it's just to say that Benham's the best goal scorer is not true, really. Again, it's your opinion. Better at pressing. I mean, there's more to football than pressing, so I don't know how we can kind of judge that, really. International football, as I said, is more about control. And the number 10 position has always been a position where it's your best player. It's your go-to guy. Someone that can dictate. Obviously dictating now comes a bit more deeper from a central midfield role. But the number 10 links the midfield and the attack together. Jude Bellingham is a box crasher. He's a box-to-box midfielder. And he's someone that cannot link the midfield to the attack. So if you look at all the number 10s that England have to choose from, he's the worst one. Because Jack Grealish, if you want to play him in a 10, can link the midfield to the attack. Morgan Rogers, not as adept as a Jack Grealish or a Foden or a Palmer, but he's a better number 10. Eze, the same in the Morgan Rogers kind of camp. Even Gibbs White is better than Jude Bellingham. So again, out of all them players, Jude Bellingham's the worst one. So again, everyone's free to their opinion. You know, I'm not here to downgrade your opinion, but when I hear people say he's the best number 10, I think people forget that Bellingham's not even in a 10. He's not even a number 10. So, and then to say that, you know, he's the best presser or, you know, he scores most or whatever. Again, these are nothing related to actual football. This is the funny thing. So all these things that people say that Bellingham's good at are off the ball things. What about on the ball? This is the problem. Yeah, listen, Greenwood's a top player, man. He is top player, man. Did Greenwood declared for Jamaica, didn't he? I see something the other day where didn't he? I think he turned down, or either Jamaica turned him down, or something mad like that. I see something the other day, so I'm not too sure. Eberechi is my 10. You know what? Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Eze in the 10 for England, but I don't think Tuchel sees him as a 10. Tuchel sees him as a left-sided player, you know, and but again, that's another player that will be ahead of Bellingham in the 10 role. So where would I play Bellingham? I wouldn't. That's the that's the answer. You don't play Bellingham. Like, you don't play Bellingham because Bellingham's not a 10, as I said earlier, and he's not a number 8 in a 2. You know? And as I said, if Bellingham was to play for England in the 8, you might as well just drop Declan Rice then. And I don't rate Declan Rice like that, but Declan Rice is better than Bellingham because you can't play Declan Rice and Bellingham together in a midfield 2 because there's no control from either one of them in the midfield. So they're both box to box. So you either got to pick one or the other. And Declan Rice, for me, I would have him ahead of Jude Bellingham. And then next to him, you've got to have a controller, whether you want to play a Walton, an Anderson, or a Kobe Minu if he gets game time. But Jude Bellingham doesn't figure in the team. This is the point. People were only saying Bellingham because of Bellingham's name. But if you actually just understand football, you wouldn't play Bellingham. It's as simple as that. Like, it's not even a controversial opinion. It's just a footballing opinion. It's just common sense. It's common sense. You don't play Bellingham because he doesn't figure into this team with what England have at their disposal anyway. You know, if you're playing a 4-3-3, you know, and you've got 2 8s and a deep line midfielder, then Bellingham could figure. Why? Because he's box to box if you wanted to play him. But in the 4-2-3-1 that England have been playing with a 10, he can't play because he can't link the midfield to the attack and he doesn't possess the attributes to control a game and dictate from that position. There's better options there. It's that simple. Palmer is the 10. I agree. Guys, get your votes in. We got 30 votes and Phil Foden's heading at the moment, which, again, I'm kind of surprised, but big up. Opinions on Villa versus United. Guys, make sure you come back through at 5:30. So as I said, I got Fitz and I got Jonas on. So we'll be discussing Liverpool Man United at 5:30. So yeah, make sure you guys come back through and then, you know, you'll be able to see us discuss that then. But I'll tell you now, Villa, man. Yeah. Uh, Saka and Rice shouldn't play. Arsenal players are frauds. I mean, I can't disagree with that, but they're gonna play. They're gonna play. Whether they should or not is a different question. I think, but they are gonna play. That's the thing. For me, if we're talking about right-sided players, I would have Cole Palmer ahead of Saka for me. You know, but I think Saka plays because of his name, because of he has figured a lot for England as well, and Declan Rice is going to play. You know, and again, if I could choose a midfield of different players, I probably would. But Declan Rice is going to play, and so is Saka. So this is something that people just need to get used to, man. Whether we think they shouldn't or not. Eze would be like fourth choice as a 10 for me. Do you know what? I hear it. I hear it because Rodgers, Palmer, Foden. I hear it. But would you play Phil Foden as a 10 ahead of Eze? You know, that's the thing. Me personally, I will play Eze in the 10 ahead of Foden because Harry Kane's gonna play. And as I said, Phil Foden for me will want to get on the ball, but so would Harry Kane. So you kind of need a number 10 that, you know, has physicality and that wants to maybe go beyond Kane. It changes if Thomas Tuchel tells Harry Kane to stay up top, and that will then allow the likes of a number 10 to get into the pockets and dictate. This is where Foden comes into it. But a lot of it depends on Harry Kane. Is Harry Kane going to drop in short, or is Harry Kane going to play as that target man? Because if he plays as that target man, then it'll give the number 10, whoever plays there, more space on the ball. So, yeah, these are the things that Thomas Tuchel needs to kind of look at, man, for real. Uh, Benham is not an 8. He's the best 10 in the world. Ha ha. Well, again, I'm sorry to tell you, man, he's not a 10. He's not a 10, man. He's never been a 10. And again, I understand that you rate Jude Bellingham, but unfortunately, man, unfortunately, you know, the world is starting to wake up to just how average he is. And, you know, it's taken people a long while, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Again, you can have your opinion. Big up to you for your opinion, but he's not a 10, man. He's not. He never has been a 10. Never has been a 10. Number 8, he is, but it depends what system you're playing in. Eze is rubbish on the left. Yeah, but again, Eze is not a left-sided player. And all you have to look at is, if you look at the system that Palace played with wing-backs. So Eze started off on the left, but he wasn't playing as a left winger. He played as a left 10. Yeah, and then you look at Arsenal play 4 at the back, which means, you know, if you play out wide, you're playing as a wide player, really, which is what Eze's not. Eze's a number 10 centrally. So, yeah, man, it's one of them things. And even so now, yeah, again, we're going to get into it at 5:30. We're going to touch a bit onto it. But I think Mikel Arteta, man, he's got a lot of things to answer for, really. But we're going to get onto that at 5:30 anyway, because there's a couple of things I want to say. So I don't want to hog now with the Arsenal talk, but we will definitely get onto that at 5:30. Do you know the United Devil channel? I don't. I don't, man. I don't. Should I? But no, I don't. I don't, man. I've never heard of it, to be honest. Jude is like a Gerard. you can. Others are better, i.e. Scholes, Lampard, but Gerrard game changer, same as Jude. Listen, Jude shit, man. Like, let's stop doing this. He's shit. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, I know you rate Jude Bellingham, man, and big up to you, man. But my guesses are, yeah, that you know, I like to know how old you are because I'm guessing you must be like 16 or something like that because this Jude Bellingham loving, man, is odd, you know. But again, you know, if your opinion is that you rate Jude Bellingham highly, then big up, man. But when you're saying he's like Gerrard and, you know, you're mentioning Scholes in the same breath, it's letting me know really that you didn't really watch Gerrard or Scholes, man, because you just don't do that, you know. As I said, Jude Bellingham's strengths, if you want to call them strengths, is that with his physical stature, he's a powerful runner. That's it. That is it. He hasn't got nothing of a high level technically. He hasn't. How he's found himself at Real Madrid is purely because of his PR. That is it, man. So, again, you can love Jude Bellingham, man, but the reality is people are waking up to how bad he is. And, you know, someone like myself and a few others, we've been aware to Jude Bellingham anyway. So, yeah, you can you can big him up all you want, man, but the reality is he just ain't that good, you know? Yeah, big up, my guy. Big up, man. Guys, bear me 1 minute. Guys, if you want your comment read out, then as I said, make sure you guys become a member on the channel. So I'm only going to go through questions or comments that stand out. So again, if you want your comment or your question read out, make sure you become a member on the channel. Obviously, as you guys get priority. Icon edits, man. After the stream's ended, man, if you're still on, send me a message on one of the comments, man, and then yeah, we can have a look at that, man. We can have a look. Or better yet, what's the channel's name? United Devils, you said. Yeah, send me a message after the stream's ended on one of the comments, and then yeah, man, we can hook that up, man. As I said, I love having football talk, man. So yeah, if he's got a channel and he likes his football, then yeah, by all means, man. But yeah, just make sure you message me icon edits at the end of the stream, and then we can hook that up, man. Yeah, no doubt. Nah, bro, message me after the stream, yeah. On the comments, just message me in the comments, and then we can sort something out, man. Yeah. Or better yet, message me on my Twitter. Actually, message me on my Twitter. So just go on GavGoesIn on Twitter and just message me on my Twitter, and I'll get back to you, man. No doubt. Big up, Exedra. Big up, my guy. Messi or Ronaldo for the 100th and 50th time? It's Lionel Messi, man. Ronaldo's nowhere near Messi. Let's stop this now. I've answered this so many times, and you know what? Big up to Cristiano Ronaldo's career, but he is nowhere near Lionel Messi. Nowhere near him. That's crazy. All right, cool, man. No worries. Just message me and then I'll get back to you, man. No worries. Right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up in about 5 minutes, but we are gonna be back at 5:30 with Fitz and with Jonas. So yeah, make sure you guys come through, man, at 5:30 for our usual stream, man. And then, guys, if you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you do. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you share the channel. And get your vote in as well. We got 45 votes. And Cole Palmer's back in the lead. You know, and again, Cole Palmer, I did expect that. But as I said, so we've got Morgan Rogers on 22%. Cole Palmer on 33%. Foden 28 and other on 17. So yeah, I mean, Gav, remember we talked about how Alonso would be sacked? Yeah, he's not been sacked yet though, which I'm surprised about. Yeah, but bro, I remember, of course, man, of course, it was a matter of time, but he hasn't been sacked yet, which I'm surprised at. But didn't Real Madrid win yesterday? I think they were 2-1 up last time I see against Alaves. So that might have given him another game. Who knows? Hey, Gav, off topic, but you hear the commentators keep calling Volta Gunter the career killer. Yeah, you know what? I noticed that. Saturday night main event. I noticed that. Again, Walter was his name when he first came in. And I don't know where this Gunter come from, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I think I prefer Walter, personally, than Gunter. Gunter's a funny name, man. I ain't gonna lie. But funny how things turn out. He's fighting for his life. Yeah, but do you know what? This is the standard at Real Madrid. I just wish that United adopt the same standards. You know, they don't mess around over there. And the thing with Xabi Alonso, I think Real Madrid won 2-1 yesterday, but he's still going to be one game away from getting a sack because he has to go on a run of, let's say, 10 games in a row where he wins. And you know what I mean? If he doesn't do that, he's always going to be under pressure, man. And this is the way it should be, especially at a club like Real Madrid. You know, Man United don't adopt that. Arsenal don't adopt that. You know, to be honest with you, I think Liverpool do. I think Slot's been under pressure, but they adopt that. But I just wish my club, Man United, would do the same thing with this Ruben Amorim guy. But Burnham will surely be the number 10 for Tuchel. But tell me how. Tell me how you think he'll be the number 10 for Tuchel. You know, I'd like to know people's faults on why. Because I've already explained why he can't be the number 10. And for so many reasons. Oh, hey, Joshua fighting Tyson Fury. Late summer 2026. Crazy. Boy, if he gets beat by Jake Paul, man, then which I don't see happening, then I think he might have to rethink that. But yeah, let me know why you think Benham will be the number 10, apart from PR. Well, you think Randy Orton's next, who he's going to retire, yeah? That's mad. AJ Styles, then Randy Orton. How? But AJ Styles is the tag team champ at the moment. I got a feeling, yeah, the Usos are gonna take the belts from AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. I got a feeling. Yeah, I got a feeling, man. How mad is that? I mentioned Joshua. Now everyone thinks it's Joshua, but it's AJ Styles we're talking about. But yeah, I think the Usos will take the belts from AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, and then maybe that might happen. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. What, when's AJ Styles is fighting John Cena? When? Or did he fight him? Oh no, we fought him before, didn't he? Okay. Yeah, I heard about AJ retiring still. Yeah. Favorite boxer, Gav? It's difficult, man. I mean, you've got Floyd. I think Usyk's ridiculous. You know, Terence Crawford ridiculous. Again, the likes of Ali and that, they're not really in my time. But from what I've seen, Tyson, Lennox Lewis, yeah, Floyd, Terence Crawford, Usyk. I liked what's his face as well, but he's just kind of just dropped off ever since Crawford kind of exposed him. Errol Spence. There's some good boxers out there, man. No doubt, no doubt. But yeah, I think yeah, Roy Jones. There's loads, man. There's loads of top boxers. But if I had to say my number one or my favorite two, I mean Prince Nassim was serious as well. But if I had to say my number one or number two, I can't look past. And again, I'm not saying Ali because Ali wasn't in my time. For me, it's got to be Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather. If I had to pick two, yeah, Mike Tyson or Floyd for me. And guys, don't forget, I'm gonna be doing a reaction on Wednesday, with my guy at Your Boy Truance. Make sure you guys give him a follow on Twitch, and obviously we got a five-a-side team on YouTube as well, so which are called No Defense. So make sure you guys give him a follow over there. So yeah, he's gonna come on and we're gonna discuss obviously my recent boxing fight. Gonna do a reaction to that. So yeah, make sure you guys come through 7 o'clock on Wednesday for that, and we're gonna discuss that. And again, you guys can find out the result, and then obviously on Tuesday as well, back with Fitz, and then we're gonna do a wrestling stream. So we're gonna talk about some of the greats of the wrestling era. So yeah, make sure you guys come through 7 o'clock Tuesday, 7 o'clock Wednesday for two different streams. And obviously we're live tonight at 5:30 for our usual stream as well. So yeah, make sure you guys come through. Man United supporter, I am. You know what makes me laugh, yeah? You get people that say Jude Bellingham, this and that, yeah? And as soon as you ask them why, they run. Like, it's just crazy, man, isn't it? It's just crazy. That's why you have to laugh. But again, man, people entitled to their opinions. But yeah, it's just crazy, man. Yeah, big up. Who's Chev Clark? Who's that? Chevron Clark. I've never heard of him. Never heard of Chevron Clark, you know. Yeah, listen, AJ, Anthony Joshua, yeah. He put British boxing on the map. I think no one can deny that, man. Obviously, of his era, man. He's gotten them sold out stadiums. Like, these things were never happening before Joshua. In terms of him as a boxer, you know, I've never really rated him that high as a boxer because, again, he's, you know what I mean? He's, obviously, if you know his background anyway, you know how he's kind of come onto the scene. But there's no denying that Joshua has been a massive influence in terms of British boxing, because the hype that British boxing gets now is really off the back of Joshua. I think no one can really deny that. But as an actual technician of a boxer, he's not. But he'd admit that himself. But he's maximized what he's got in terms of the boxer that he is. And you can only respect that, man. But the guys that I mentioned, you know, these are just the best some of the best technicians out there. You know, the likes of Floyd, the likes of Usyk. I mean, Tyson was an absolute animal, you know. But yeah, Joshua's had a very good career, man. And as I said, he's put British boxing on the map, no doubt. Yeah, big up, man, for subbing. Big up. Right, guys, we're going to wrap it up anyway. So as I said, big up yourselves for coming through each and every time. Make sure you guys sub to the channel, and make sure you share the channel as well on all your platforms. Make sure Ricky Hatton all day. Listen, Ricky Hatton was an exciting fighter, but yeah, and obviously, you know, RIP to Ricky Hatton, man. But Ricky Hatton's not in the mold of them fighters, man. Let's not do that. But listen, make sure, guys, you smash the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you share the channel as well. And as I said, we'll be back at 5:30 with myself, Fitz, and with Jonas. So yeah, make sure you guys come through and support the channel and give us your questions and comments. We're going to go through, obviously, Liverpool. There's a few things I want to ask Jonas about Liverpool. Obviously, Man United playing Bournemouth tonight as well at 8 o'clock. And we're going to go through some of the weekend football as well. So, yeah, make sure you guys come back through at 5:30. And, yeah, obviously make sure you're supporting the channel as always. And make sure you guys are getting involved, man. As I said, guys, priority will be given to members. So if you've got comments or questions, unless they stand out, I won't be reading them out. So if you want them read out as a priority, you guys know what you have to do. And as I said, big up yourselves for coming through and subbing to the channel, and big up for contributing to the channel as well. So as I said, it's going to go through the poll. So before we wrap up, so 49 votes. And again, if you haven't got your vote in, make sure you vote before we wrap up. 49 votes. So Cole Palmer leads it 33%. Morgan Rogers 22%. Foden 29%. Other 18%. So yeah, so Cole Palmer, obviously the standout one, which again, I can't really disagree with. Yeah, big up Daniel Carty, man. Big up. I can't disagree with, really. So as I said, man, Cole Palmer would be it for me as well. But mention to Foden, to Rogers, because they've both having good seasons as well. So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, guys, big up yourselves. Catch you guys at 5:30. And Icon Edits, as I said, man, yeah, make sure you send me a comment after the stream's ended on this one. And as I said, man, I'll get back to you when I can, and we'll try and see if you want to hook up something as well, man, for a stream. But yeah, big up yourselves, guys, and I'll catch you guys at 5:30. Take it easy.